Longhorn fans, Sooner Nation, welcome to episode 190 of the Boomer Bevo podcast, the only podcast exclusively dedicated to covering the greatest rivalry in college football, the University of Texas and the University of Oklahoma. I'm here with my man, Kevin Miller. I am John Whitson. Kevin, the reign at number one did not last long. Texas making the trip to Columbus, Ohio, only to fall woefully short 14-7 to the Ohio State Buckeyes. Did Corso curse the game for you guys? Do you blame this on Lee Corso?
No, I don't, actually. Shout out to Coach Corso, last
No,
appearance on game day.
Dude,
It was great.
SportsCenter was so good. Game day was so good yesterday.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Having the set there on the 50-yard line, the Ohio State band spelling out Corso. Yeah, it was a cool moment, sure.
So you're not mad at Coach Corso for putting the Buckeye on his head?
No, not at all. There was no way he was not going to do that in front of the Ohio State fans. He's been really good at trolling over the years. He was not going to do that in the last
one. In addition to picking Ohio State, he was the only person to pick Florida State, which I think is appropriate for his last appearance on game day. And then Florida State backed him up with I don't even know how bad they'd be, 31-17 win against Alabama. I can't believe that, Kevin. You and I both picked Alabama to roll. This is a 2-10 Florida State team. We're going to talk about this game. We're going to talk about LSU Clemson. Of course, we're going to talk about OU Illinois State. You know I've got thoughts on this game from the very first drive all the way through it. Encouraging, yet questions linger, Kevin. Questions linger for the University of Oklahoma heading into Michigan next week. But we've got to start Columbus, Ohio, 14-7 loss. Let's come right out of the gate and assign blame. I know that's what you like to do, Kevin. You like to find who's responsible and shame them for their shortcomings. So here's what we're going to do, Kevin. Is it Arch Manning and his inability to throw the ball, or is it Steve Sarkisian and his inability to call a play in the red zone? Who do you blame for this disaster of a loss on Saturday? Probably knocking you out of the college football playoff, if I had to guess.
Get out of here. What? What are you basing that on?
I don't know. Go ahead.
Both.
Sark or Arch?
Both. Come on,
no,
man.
You gotta pick somebody, Kevin.
Well, if I'm picking somebody, it's Sark.
It has to be Sark, dude.
Yeah, because we've seen this before. My thing with Sark, and I'm really glad he's our coach, right? He's completely transformed our program. But I'm starting to not love him as the offensive coordinator. I think he's a great designer of plays, but I don't think he's a great timely play caller. Like, the plays that he designs are awesome, but when it comes to certain situations, he does not call the right play at the right time, especially in the red zone. I mean, we've seen this for his entire tenure at Texas, especially since Bijan and Roschon Johnson left. We've just not been able to punch it in consistently in the red zone. And it cost us probably a national championship, especially last year.
Kevin, I agree. I agree in the sense that he can dial up plays where guys can be seemingly wide open. He's as good at that as anybody in the country. As far as quarterback development, it's interesting, right? Because he had Arch for 4 years, 3 years, 4 years.
This is year 3.
I'm sorry. He had Quinn for how long? 3 years?
3 years.
He had Quinn for 3 years, and this is the 3rd year of Arch. And I'm not convinced that you're seeing a 3rd-year player in a system that you would expect to see. Am I wrong? I mean, I know it's
Ba-
Ohio
well,
State.
based
But
on it is Ohio. You have to remember that, right? It is Ohio State. It is his first road start, but there was reason for concern, not reason for
yeah,
panic. I'm a long way from panic,
but I
but there were
always
some things you thought would be better yesterday that were not.
okay. Thank you. And it really look. I think Arch has its own issues, whatever those are. We're going to talk about Arch plenty, but while we're talking about Sark, I start to wonder about his quarterback development because you just never saw it with Quinn, and now with Arch, you're like, and then in terms of the red zone, especially inside the 5 yard line, it is Kevin. It is just it's an entire lack of creativity. Like
Correct.
nothing about his play calling suggests he wants to score a touchdown.
It's very interesting.
I mean, he is trying. He's got a retooled offensive line. We've talked about this offensive line. I don't know that Arch was running for his life, but he was getting some pressure, and y'all were able to run the ball.
They actually weren't bad running the ball.
No, I take that back. He had 166 yards
Yeah.
rushing. Okay, I take that back. But it's like up the middle with your quarterback on 4th and 2 just doesn't seem to be. I don't know. It just
Correct.
didn't.
Yeah.
It was like
Especially the one
what's
on the goal
happening?
line. Yeah, the one on the goal line. That one was really frustrating. They try to hurry up and catch him off tempo. It just didn't work. It just didn't work at all. Really, throughout the whole game, there was a weird lack of creativity. There was no motion. Those things that we do well, setting things up, no misdirection. Really, everything was base. Everything was based. So I don't know what his thought process was. Was he now again? You do have to remember that we had no idea what they were going to do defensively, right? Brand new coordinator, no college film, not exactly sure what they were going to do. I don't know if that played a factor into it. I'm just trying to think about why here. I'm not making any kind of excuses for Sark. I'm just trying to figure out as
Not
to why the lack of true creativity that we've seen from Sark over the years.
not knowing what they're going to do defensively is not an excuse for you not knowing what you're going to do offensively.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just, and then okay, now let's transit. We might bash Sark a little bit more. Let's transition to Arch. I mean, I think it's fair to say far from the finished product. You hope.
Of course.
The first couple of passes just weren't good. The interception he threw was bad.
That was bad. That was a very, very. But you have to remember this, right? It's easy to get caught up in the Arch Manning hype train because it's everywhere from the national media. I mean, when they started the broadcast yesterday, the opening segment was not about Texas. It was not about Ohio State. It was literally a whole video based on Arch Manning, his family. The whole thing was just about him. I'm watching this thing. I'm like, man, people are going to think that this kid is about to come into this game and just light it up. And I've told you all offseason, we like Arch. We're excited that Arch is our quarterback, but there are going to be growing pains. And I remember specifically telling you on one of our episodes that there are going to be times where he looks like, what are you doing out there? And we saw that yesterday. Now, there were some things that were worse than I expected, right? Like hitting guys. The interception, that one didn't really surprise me.
You're going to throw interceptions. You'll throw interceptions against Ohio State. You threw one.
Correct. But
I hear you.
It was the inaccuracy that on simple crossing routes, he's throwing it at their feet.
What about the one on 3rd down where you got to drive and trying to tie the game?
Correct. Yeah,
that's a bad throw. That's a bad throw.
Yes, he's wide open, and not only would he got in the first down, there was room for him to turn up and run. So obviously he was nervous, right? He was pressing. He was almost trying not to make a mistake. He did, to his credit, he did make some really good throws in the fourth quarter. The throw to injuries on the wheel route, dropping it in between the corner who was dropping back, the safety who was getting over. I mean, it's one of the best throws you'll see. Also, the throw to Livingston for the touchdown was a good throw.
Yes.
So he made some kind of, wow throws, but he missed layups. And that's the thing you can't miss, especially in a game like this where every yard matters. You can't miss the layups. Even if you miss some of the deep shots, but that's fine. But the layups, the ones that are right there, easy, short throws, in stride, you got to hit those all day. And he didn't.
Well, you absolutely have to hit them against Ohio State. You're just not.
There's it's a small margin for error.
Yeah.
Against a team and a defense like that.
And so there's an element of, Arch missing the bunnies killed the rhythm of the offense. And it does impact play calling when you're missing bunnies. Yet at the same time, I still don't know that they put him in great positions to succeed, So it's kind of a yin and a yang.
Correct.
One minute Sark's the problem. 1 minute Sark's the problem. The next minute Arch is the problem. And I don't know, run the ball more. Like that's what I always kind of fall on. I don't know why I said you didn't run the ball. I even got notes on there that you ran the ball well. 166 rushing yards, 4.5 yards a carry.
Correct. And, what I was thinking too is that my biggest concern for this game was the offensive line. And, they actually weren't bad at all. I was very surprised how they held up in pass pro.
How many sacks did they give up? One sack?
One sack.
That's fine.
Yeah. And not even a ton of pressure. And another thing about Arch, just to show how he was never comfortable, he bailed on clean pockets multiple times.
Yeah.
He bailed on clean pockets. I thought the offensive line did a really good job in pass pro. But it was all out of sync. It was all out of whack the whole time.
You have said there will be growing pains. So I acknowledge that clearly that take was accurate in the event he grows out of them. However, it's his third year. This isn't Underwood for Michigan. Now, granted, he didn't play Ohio State, but this isn't a true freshman or even a redshirt freshman. This is a third-year player who you're expecting, I don't know, to go better than 17 of 30. Like, that is just, it's not very efficient football, and I think it needs to be talked about.
No, I mean, it wasn't good. There's no other way to spin it. It was not good at all. None of it was. From Sark to him, even the receivers, for the most part, didn't appear to be getting open against their defense. And again, look, they've got a ton of dudes who are going to be playing on Sundays, really at every level.
They're the defending national champion
for a reason, right? And they were very well coached. They had a great game plan.
Both defenses is clearly the highlight of this game. I don't think you can say that.
And there was no surprise there, right? We both thought it would be. We didn't think it would be this low scoring, but we knew it would be a defensive game.
I put down, like, when I was going through the box score, it was a quiet day from Colin Simmons, and it was a quiet day from Anthony Hill Jr. And really, as you look at it, it was a quiet day, yet y'all were incredibly dominant defensively.
Yeah, they had 202 yards total.
And it's the same thing for Ohio State. Downs didn't, jump off the page.
Correct.
But they held you guys, obviously, in check.
Correct. It was just solid. Everybody pretty much doing their job.
Okay, so my question is, okay, I'm probably going to get in trouble for saying this, but I'm just going to say this. Julian Sayin, 13 of 20, 126 yards. He did beat Texas. I don't know how great he looked. I think he looked okay. He didn't make any mistakes, right?
Correct.
Would you agree that in his post-game interview, he appeared to be feminine? He had a feminine air about him, Kevin.
I'm not sure. I guess I was too frustrated about the game to really pay attention.
It just seemed off. It seemed off-putting. So whatever that means, I don't know. If you're out there and you want to comment on his femininity, feel free. I just got a weird, man, this guy's a little girly, but that's neither here nor there. I wasn't impressed with him, though, as a quarterback. And is it just me, or did he look small on the field?
I think he's listed at 6'1", 210 or something like that.
No way he's that big.
Yeah.
No way he's that big.
Yeah. I'm not sure, but look, he's a talented guy. I thought they had a good game plan for him just to protect him. And again, as good as our defense was, and I thought it was excellent, right? We covered well, other than the one shot that they hit to Carnell Tate. What a catch that was, by the way.
It's a hell of a catch.
I
Absolutely
mean,
hell of a catch.
it's underthrown. He jumps up, gets his hands on it. Gilbo hits him. The ball separates from his hands, and he's somehow able to recatch it and control it on his back. I mean, and again, this is what we're talking about with their guys, right? Jeremiah Smith, and then you got Carnell Tate, and you got multiple 5-star receivers on the field. That's what happens, right? We're doubling Jeremiah Smith. We're gonna have to play other guys one-on-one. That's the risk you take. I wasn't really upset about it. It happens when you're playing against elite guys. The thing is, though, and like you mentioned, we were really solid and almost dominant, but I wish we could have made a play at some point. We would have forced a turnover, gotten a big sack that would have forced a 10-yard loss to really pin them deep. And we're nitpicking here defensively, but their first touchdown drive was squarely off the fact that we had 2 huge penalties. Colin Simmons, it's 3rd down. We get a stop. It's 4th down here. They're kind of in a weird spot. They may have gone for it, but it's 4th down. And then we looked, there's a flag on the field, and Colin Simmons had face masked their offensive tackle trying to bull rush him.
Yeah.
Gives him a 1st down, 15 yards. And then Manny Muhammad gets called for holding, defensive holding on the same drive, puts him right inside 1st and goal. And we still get them to 4th down. They eventually score on 4th and goal to take the lead. So, as good as they were, I just wish they could have made a play, made some sort of impact play other than just playing really solid defense.
I hear you, man, but you hold Ohio State to 14 points at home.
Correct. If I told you that on when we did our preview episode, I said, hey, we're going to hold Ohio State to 200 yards of total offense, 14 points. You would think we would win the game by at least 10 points.
And you're going to outrush them.
We're going to outrush them. Almost double them up, I believe, in rushing yards. You thought we won. Yeah, it is. That just shows how inept we were offensively.
How much of this is 2 really, 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 really good defenses or offenses that weren't ready to go week 1?
I think it's both. I think the defense is going to be there all year. I think Texas is going to make it difficult for every offense they play this season to do what they want to do. Right? I feel like the question was the defensive tackles, right? The new defensive tackles that we have. And they held up well. Yeah. They did a really good job stopping their running game. They're even able to generate a little bit of pressure too. And we are deep there. We had a lot of different guys coming in, and I didn't see a drop off with any of the guys that we brought in. So I'm really excited about that. I like the linebackers. Anthony Hill was pretty quiet. LaFau had a really good game at the other spot. And I don't know if you noticed this, but we had a freshman. We talked about him, Grayson Littleton at nickel. This kid is awesome. I mean, we've been hearing like he might start at nickel. I'm like, they're going to start a freshman nickel. Like, what are they thinking? And then, I mean, he made 3 huge plays. This is his first college game on the road at Ohio State. He's breaking up passes intended for Jeremiah Smith. He's tackling Carnell Tate on a huge 3rd down on a drag route. He's trying to turn up field. And he just makes a solid open field one-on-one tackle to force a punt. I'm like, okay, this dude's a star, the future star here. So really excited about that. A lot to be excited about defensively this season. But we got to get that offense right, man.
Offensively, if I'm Texas fan, and I'm always looking for the gray cloud anyway, but if I'm Texas fan, I'm happy with injuries, 4 for 50.
Yeah.
I think Livingstone looks like he could be a player, 2 for 47 and a touchdown. And then Ryan Wingo had 2 receptions. But other than that, where are you going to get production on the receiving end of the play? Because you didn't see hardly
it was interesting.
anything else.
DeAndre Moore, who, was our most experienced receiver.
Yeah.
Complete non-factor in the game. I mean, Arch missed him. We had him open at the beginning of the game, wide open, and Arch missed him. Really didn't see much from him after the fact. Wingo had a drop, and then Arch missed him multiple times. So I don't know. I feel like we just got to get in sync, right? The good thing is, after this game, and this is one of those, we talked about this too, that it'd be a little bit different if it was week 2 instead of week 1. You kind of knowing what you have, But we have 3 cupcake opponents coming up. We got San Jose State, We've got UTEP and Sam Houston. So plenty of time for Arch to get confident with our receivers going up against those secondaries.
It's hard to know.
And we have a bye week before we play Florida after those 3 games.
It's hard to know how good Florida is. They beat Long Island University 55-0. Lagway did look good.
Yeah.
There was did you see the one catch down the sideline?
I did not see any highlights from that Florida game. I have not watched the college football final. I've got it recorded. I'll probably go watch it after this.
Let's just put it out. Spoiler alert, it was the top play. He made a great OBJ-like catch down the sideline.
They've got talent. They've quietly recruited very well since Napier has been there. So they've got dudes on that roster. The one thing I am glad about, too, with this game, again, I'm really annoyed that they lost it the way they did. But I thought we handled the environment well. Right? We did have Brandon Baker. He had a couple false starts. Right tackle making his first start there. But the other question marks on the offensive line, I thought they held up well. I just thought we were not intimidated by the environment. I thought Arch just didn't play well. But
I was going to say
it was the environment.
The issue was not your offensive line. It was your quarterback throwing the ball and got beat or throwing it over him, or your head coach / play caller completely choking in the red zone. It's those two things. Like a couple of receptions go a different way, and I think the game's a little bit different. Clearly, in the red zone, if a decision goes one way or the other, I mean, if it's almost looks like if Texas wants to score, they need to do it from the 35, like they would limit.
Yeah, exactly. We need a huge play, and that's the difference in the game is that they did not really make those mistakes. They got in the red zone and they scored. I think they only crossed the 50 2 or 3 times the entire game. Ohio State, the entire game. But when they got down there, they got touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, we
love Smith. A little bit more efficient.
We love Smith and we love Tate. Not impressed with Sayin at all. At least I wasn't. I didn't see anything that just jumped out of the. Again, I know y'all have a good defense and all of that. Neither one of these quarterbacks just really got me excited.
Yeah, it's just one of those weird week ones. I mean, you can honestly say the same thing about Nussmeier and Klubnik.
Well, we're gonna get to that one. We're going to get to that. Klubnik that was a weird game plan by Dabo, but let's hold off on that. All right, let's shift to the University of Oklahoma because I've got plenty of thoughts on the 35-3 victory over Illinois State. I was there live, Kevin, starting right out of the bat. They go 3-and-out. Seth Luttrell could have called the first 3 plays. I waited the entire offseason for those 3 plays, and it was terrible. So then defense holds, we get the ball back, and then you see a sweet pass to Jared Kanik right up the seam. You're thinking, man, this guy might be a fumble. Gets hit, fumble, which to give him whatever path is, it's like the first live action you've had as a ball carrier in 4 years, and you got knocked pretty good. Again, hold on to the ball, bro. However, I thought Kanik bounced back and looked pretty decent as an offensive player.
I will say he looked more natural as a pass catcher than he ever did playing linebacker.
100%.
He looked very natural there. I mean, he caught it well with his hands. You know what I mean? Like
I never really saw him lining up, and I didn't see it on television. I haven't watched the replay back, but it seemed like he was split out most of the time.
He was split out or more like a receiver back too. Yeah. He was either split out or playing as an H-back. Yeah, he wasn't hand in the dirt. And that's what I don't think he's big enough to really be a hand in the dirt type of tight end, but
he did.
He's a legit. He looked like a legit threat as a receiver, as a pass catcher.
The Huggins kid looks like a real tight end. Kanik just looks like a football player, and I'm okay with that. He made some good plays. What do I got him for receiving? 5 for 90. It's not bad. That's not bad. You take 5 for 90.
Not
the fumble
hurt. The fumble hurt, but not bad. I mean, that's as good a tight end production as you've gotten in years.
I don't disagree. All right. Look, Mateer, 30 for 37, 392 yards, 10.6 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns. Not a great interception. Obviously efficient though, over 80%. there were a lot of things to like about Mateer. I thought he ran the ball when he needed to run the ball. When he finally got into a rhythm throwing the ball, him and Keontez Lewis, man, that kid looked great. 9 for 119 and 2 touchdowns. Burks, 7 for 88. Those two look like they are communicating well with each other. But I can't start with positivity. I have to start with negativity. Javonte Barnes, Kevin, what did I say in every preview episode we had this season? Don't play Javonte Barnes. 7 for 9. 1.3 yards per carry. And then all I hear in the stands is, why are we blocking for him? Why are we blocking for him? It's funny. Torrey Blaylock gets in. The same dudes are blocking the same plays, and he averages 5.5 yards a carry. What?
Yeah,
what are we talking
at this
about?
point, look, we know that
He is who he is.
He is who he is. He's shown us for 4 years. This is year 4, right?
And at least they acknowledged it, and he didn't go back in after. I mean, Blaylock, even when Blaylock had the stinger, they didn't go back to Barnes. They went.
No, they went to Robinson.
And at least Robinson, not great, 2.1. I'm not happy with that, but he also had some good receiving yards and stuff. Like
at least he goes forward. He's not trying to beat guys to the edge.
Have you ever seen a running back in the history of you watching college football that looks more like he should be a stud than Javonte Barnes, but isn't?
Yeah, he does. He looks the part for sure. But yeah, man, I mean, if you can't get to the edge against Illinois State, it's not going to happen against anybody on the schedule.
Kevin, I've never seen anything like it. Like, he's just not a good running back. I don't know what else we have to see from him.
Yeah.
If we see another snap, it's just the anger and the frustration. He rolls out, and you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe, there's always this talk about whether he's healthy or not. Well, he's banged up this, he's banged up that, and offensive line this, and offensive line that, blah, 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 blah. It's Ohio, it's Illinois State, and it's terrible. And then you see Blaylock come in, and it's like burst of energy, burst to the hole, burst to the edge, burst to this, shoot up the middle for a touchdown. Like all the things that you want to see from a running back, you get none of that from Barnes, and I don't understand why he keeps getting playing time. It doesn't make sense.
Does he just light it up in practice? Is he just such a great guy that coaches get like this? Oh, they're just guys who work hard and show up every day. And the coaches just love him. They put him out there even when they shouldn't. Is he that guy?
DeMarco must just have a soft spot for him. That must be his boy.
That's his guy.
It's one of his maybe original recruits. I don't know.
Maybe it's the Las Vegas thing.
Whatever, dude. It's just not good. I don't know what else you have to see. We've seen it now. He is who he is. I've said it. Now, in addition to weird decisions at running back, because I think clearly Javonte Barnes starting is an odd decision because he's just not very good. But even odder than that, Kevin, is Jaden Ott, big-time transfer from Cal, pay him a lot of money to come. He's on the watch list for everybody in terms of best running back. He's, projected to be one of the best running backs in the SEC. When the depth chart comes out, he's third on the depth chart. Everybody says it's because he hasn't practiced. Because he's banged up with the shoulder, whatever. I see him in warm-ups with like the thing on his arm, so I don't know what that even means. So you go the whole game with them and you're like, okay, whatever. I guess he's either hurt or they're holding him out, whatever. And then they start the fourth quarter and he trots out there and they give him a carry.
So weird. That was so weird.
And he loses 3 yards and he stays out there for one more play and never goes out again. What in the hell was that?
Yeah, that was very, very, very weird. I have no explanation, man. I was
texting with a buddy. Let me ask you this. Is it possible he was under like a punishment for 3 quarters? Or something like that?
But wasn't he the kick returner? Wasn't he back there? Like to start the game?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess.
I thought he was out there. I mean, at least on the broadcast, they announced him as being back there to return. They were all touchbacks, so he only had 1 kickoff return from Peyton Bowen, but I thought he was back there. Somebody in the comments could let us know, but I thought he was back there returning kicks.
Well, he never touched the ball, so it's hard.
He never touched it, but he was back there. But I thought he was back there.
But can you
lined up as a
explain? Can you explain Javante Barnes being terrible, Torrey Blaylock getting from all indications a stinger, so hopefully he's okay. We need that kid. Xavier Robinson, meh, meh. And then you trot out in the fourth quarter of a
it was so
of a 4-score game, and then you run him.
Correct. If he has a shoulder injury, which he did have, he had a shoulder brace on. Why is he out there? I don't know.
That is just
you
weird.
Want him to take a hit? I mean, he's been hit in practice. That's where he's got a shoulder injury.
Kevin, I don't even know what I mean. I'm sure there's weirder things in the world than rolling Jay Nod out to start the fourth quarter, but I haven't seen very many of them this college football season because I just don't even know what to make of it. I don't know. Is he punished? Is he truly the third best running back in their minds?
Man, that would be so concerning.
Well, I'm not.
That would be incredibly concerning if he's your third best running back.
Let me ask you this. Is he a pain in the ass? Is he not a good teammate?
Okay, yeah.
I'm not making a bold take here, and I've heard nothing to the effect.
Yeah, but we're trying to figure this out because it doesn't make sense.
So help me understand.
So that, if they don't tell us, we have to start to speculate, right?
I haven't even seen anything online. Like I saw, I just did I didn't get deep into Twitter this morning prepping for the show. I just kind of wanted to get a feel where the fan base was. A lot like me. Like passing looked good, defense of course looked good. Although there's one stat I want to talk about, but it was really like Parker Thune tweeted out, "Hey, Jay Knott's in the game." And that was really all I heard.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. I thought it was
real quick though.
Go ahead.
Overall, the running game, you saw flashes with Blaylock, but other than that,
I don't think. Well, first of all, I'm a little concerned we didn't push him off the ball more.
Yeah.
However, when it's kind of like the Sark Arch deal, you kind of got to get into a rhythm.
Yeah.
And if you drop bunnies, it's hard to get into a play calling rhythm. You're not quite sure what to call next.
Yeah.
I think when you're running the ball, when you have 7 rushes from your starting tailback that gain nothing, it's hard to know, are they pushing them off the ball? I mean, ideally you expect them to get more than that. But once Blaylock got in there, I thought they were run blocking just fine. So it's it's concerning, 100%. Whole running back room. This has been a theme for the last 2 years, is how DeMarco Murray is using the running back room. So it's an entire concern. I get it, but I think you could, in this game, isolate it to the fact they started the wrong guy, and it's really hard to get a good vibe on what the running game is really like.
Makes sense. I think we've kind of always known this, but this offense is going to go as far as Jean Mateer takes you, and it's going to be him. Everything is going to be predicated on what he can do. I think, if I'm an OU fan, I'd be very excited about what I saw from him yesterday. I thought he was accurate. And again, it's Illinois State, and those seam routes, they did not have the athleticism to get either their linebackers back or their safeties up. He's throwing it in between the linebackers and the safeties all day on those routes, and they just couldn't match it. But he was really accurate. He's very confident. Obviously, we knew that coming in. And his ability to make plays outside the pocket. He gives you that threat to run, whether it's a zone read or to scramble and make plays off script. So it's just something you always have to account for as a defense, having that kind of mobility at quarterback. So something that you guys didn't have last year. So, and with him coming in with his OC, you can see that they're obviously in sync, and he knows that system very well.
Again, I think he's in sync with Arbuckle, at least on the passing game. And then I thought Keontez Lewis and Deion Burks looked.
They did. They looked good.
Well, looked well utilized. Like those guys were put in good positions. He's making good plays. I think back to I think it's the second touchdown to Keontez Lewis. it was going away from me. I was in the north end zone. It was going towards the south end zone. And I think it was Xavier Robinson was his outlet, and he was wide open. He could have so easily dumped that off. But he just waited a beat. Lewis made the move. Just little things like that that made a difference in how we looked. The offense looked fine. And look, here's the defense, right? They give up one field goal following a bad interception. 34 passing yards against Oklahoma. Should I be concerned about the rushing? Should I be concerned about the rush defense, especially with Michigan coming up next week?
They did let some runs pop through that you were a little bit surprised to see. Illinois State, now obviously they're down a level, but they are a competent team. You can see that, right? This is a well-coached football team. Athletically, they don't belong on the field against OU, but you can see that this is not an incompetent team, right? They're well-coached. They line up well. So, but again, I know Venables is not happy about some of the stuff in the run game. So I don't know what happened. I have to go back and rewatch it. When you watch a game live, it's kind of more emotional. When you go back and watch it, that's when you can really see what happened. So are guys getting pushed around? Are guys shooting through the wrong gaps? Are they taking bad angles? Just to figure that out, because you got to figure it out, and you got to figure out quickly, because we all know what Michigan's going to try to do next week.
Now, I will say, in addition to, I believe the offense was probably vanilla. It's my thought.
Yes. Yeah.
Sometimes there are seasons where you can say that for like 4 weeks and make excuses for the offense by saying it's vanilla, and then realize, nope, that's just what we have. Hopefully this was the vanilla game for the offense. I also think it's probably fair to say it was vanilla for the defense, right? I saw like one safety blitz the entire game, and Peyton Bowen got to him when they did.
Correct. But you probably weren't running a ton of stunts and everything. And
I didn't see hardly any stunts. I didn't see a lot of linebackers play in the backfield. I kind of just saw 4 guys rushing, and so I don't think they wanted to show Underwood and Michigan anything. Did you?
No, correct. And you're gonna want, because you're gonna see more of a kitchen sink game at this freshman quarterback next week. We're gonna see probably a lot of simulated pressures, just lining up like, hey, this is cover 2, and then the snap happens, and it's actually single high with the safety roaming the middle of the field. So just little things like that to try to confuse. They're very talented, but clearly inexperienced quarterback next week.
What were your final thoughts on the OU game from you?
I mean, a really good start. I mean, my final thought was just John Mateer. I mean, it's pretty much what we expected as advertised, right? He can throw it. He can run it.
He's a tough kid too. You get that toughness.
Yeah, he's tough. He can. You got to keep him healthy, right? Hopefully, and again, he is who he is, so he's not going to be a guy who goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
But I would hope that when you play against teams like Michigan and just that he's a little bit more cautious of that, just because you just can't lose him to an injury on an unnecessary. Now, obviously, if you're trying to get into the end zone, you do what you got to do to get into the end zone. But if it's just a routine second down, and there's nothing wrong with just stepping out of bounds, not throwing yourself into a guy to make a statement, But other than that, I was very impressed with him, and he has that type of game that brings confidence to everybody around him, kind of like what you got with Baker back in the day.
My final thoughts are he did look really, really good. We're gonna wait to see, but he looked really good. We've got to run. We've got to figure out how to run the ball.
Yes.
It's just you can't run it against Illinois State. I am concerned. And I think at this point it's a personnel issue. Now, Simmons, projected right tackle or left tackle, didn't start. Sexton was in and out, right? Was he hurt? In and out?
I don't know if he was hurt. I think you were just playing for Susie a bit.
Okay. Well, either way, it doesn't look like we had the full complement of the offensive line, so potentially that could speak to some of the running game
for sure.
But for me, it's the personnel. DeMarco, get the dudes out there that are demonstrating in-game performance. Blaylock demonstrated in-game performance. Run that dude. He looked great.
Yeah, I mean, if you would have to think that he would be, we're not talking about odd here but based on the guys who played yesterday,
It's not close. It's not close.
Blaylock is,
It's not even
it's a
close.
Clear talent advantage for him.
Yeah, speed, elusiveness, decision making, it all checked. I don't know about his people it was. If Javante Barnes better be the best pass blocking running back in the history of college football that they continue to play him. You know what I'm saying?
And if that's the case, bring him in on third down.
He picks up the blitz. Nobody picks up a blitz better than Javante Barnes. Oh, well, good, because he can't pick up 2 yards. So I hope he can pick up the blitz. Kevin, let's take a look at the scores around the country. You could be Boise State right now. They got beat 34-7. That was ugly. Illinois beats Western Illinois. Penn State takes care of Nevada. All right, let's talk LSU Clemson. That was the nightcap. 17-10. LSU gets the opener bugaboo off their back. I thought these quarterbacks looked almost identical. And when I looked at their stats, they were almost identical. Did you get that vibe watching that game?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Not a lot there. I mean, I thought Nussmeier was better than Klubnik.
Well,
really
I say that.
Man.
Klubnik was 19 of 38. Nussmeier was 28 of 38, but they both threw for 230 yards. Klubnik's, you know what's so crazy about their offense is I thought their offense was going to take a jump, right?
Yes, we all did.
You got Garrett Riley for another year. Klubnik's a year older. You're at home. LSU, look, they looked good defensively. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to take that away. But this isn't the 85 Bears we're talking about. And
yeah,
am I wrong?
No, not at all. Not at all. Look, they're missing a guy, one of their receivers, right? Antonio Williams was out, but you still had T.J. Moore and Brian Wesco, studs.
And it just never looked good.
It was almost like Texas.
I got a lot of vibes of Klubnik backing up, right? Constantly backing up and never really stepping up into the pocket, stepping up to make a throw.
He didn't look comfortable.
No.
Kind of like Arch. He just never looked settled at all. Now, I'm assuming LSU must have came out with some scheme that they did not expect because he just never looked. It looked like what he was expecting to see and what he did see were two completely different things, and it just had him a little flustered.
And I think Dabo got outcoached by Brian Kelly, and that was not on my bingo card.
Correct, man. I mean, 19 to 50% completion percentage for Klubnik.
It's terrible.
I mean, at home.
Well, and the LSU and Nussmeier should have had another touchdown catch. That was a touchdown. I don't even know how you take that. I have no idea how that comes off the board. If that's not a catch, what are we doing?
Yeah, correct. It made no sense. Also, I thought LSU was a little bit more dedicated to running the football.
Well, yeah, Clemson had 32 yards rushing. I would say so.
And I mean, just even the carries, 19 total carries, 29 compared for LSU.
Caden Durham looked like that dude.
Correct. I mean, again, and they did 17 for 74, but you just see the ability, right? The ability if he can get a crease, he can take it. And LSU's receivers are good. I was impressed with him, especially Aaron Anderson. No surprise there. You guys remember him from last year?
Yeah, we do. Nick Anderson, did he play?
I heard he was going to be limited. I saw him out there, but not much. He was out there towards like in the goal line. I think when they scored at the end, he was out there. Their last touchdown.
Bauer Sharp had a fumble, so there you go. That's about right.
Yeah.
He looked okay, I guess.
That's fine. Yeah, 5 for 18. And again, this game, I mean, it's kind of like the Texas Ohio State game. The defenses were just having an advantage here.
Well, I just think that this is one of those first games of the year type situation.
Okay. Yeah, this is week 2 would probably look different.
I think it probably looks a little different, although I don't know. All right, so where were we? All right, that was Georgia beats Marshall. Oregon beat Montana State. Let's talk Florida State, Alabama. 31-17. Shocking behavior from Alabama. This is Kalen DeBoer, your boys' 4th loss to an unranked team in 14 games. compared to Nick Saban's four losses to unranked teams in 230 games. Ty Simpson went 23 of 43 for 250 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's okay. They only rushed the ball for 87 yards, but more damning of a statistic, they allowed 236 yards rushing, Kevin.
Correct. I gotta tell even your boy Gavin Sawchuk with a big touchdown run, dragging defenders in the end zone.
And I don't even think they had like some big run that skewed the numbers. I think it was just a lot of little runs.
It was the longest run they had was 32 yards.
Yeah.
But they were just running at will.
What's your concern? What's your concern level for DeBoer at this point?
Oh, it's sky high. I mean, Florida State coming off a 10-loss season, they looked faster and they look more physical than Alabama. And when you look at Alabama, even if and Florida State has athletes, but you look at the teams, it doesn't look close. They still look like Alabama. Like their defensive players are still huge. They still look like NFL guys. They just don't play like it. They just aren't being coached like it. It was shocking, man. Seriously, Florida State looked more like Alabama than Alabama did.
How much do you make of this undisciplined take that people are giving, that since Saban left, the discipline has gone down, and that's what's driving a lot of these results?
Well, I think it's obvious, right? I mean, there's bad penalties, guys out of position, they're getting pushed around. It just would not happen under Saban. You get it. There's going to be a change, right? But it just doesn't look right. You can't get out physical by Florida State, and you can't get out athlete. They look faster. It's shocking because it's not like they don't have the same type of personnel with Alabama. They still have dudes who are going to be in the NFL and going to be high draft picks. They just don't look the same. I mean, Ryan Williams, obviously he was a focal point of their game plan, but 5 for 30 receiving. I mean, Jeremy Bernard looked great with 8 for 146 for Alabama. But again, and this really was an issue, even the last part of the Saban era, is they had not been able to run the ball great from the running back position. Right, most of their rushing game the last 2 seasons has been on the legs of Jalen Milroe, our quarterback.
Yeah, because even with Bryce Young, they didn't have a great running game.
No. So, I mean, Kevin Riley, 5 for 31. Richard Young, 9 for 26. Daniel Hill, 3 for 9. They got to run the ball better.
Well, look, I don't know how good Florida State is, because like even Castellanos, their quarterback, talked a little trash. Everybody's like, well, he backed it up. Did he? He threw for like 132 yards. He looked fine. He looked good, I guess. And he got the win. Don't get me wrong. He got the win and did what he needed to do. But I don't look at that Florida State team and think, oh my gosh, they are so good. The takeaway is
they're going to UCC.
I mean, they didn't look as good as Ohio State or Clemson or Texas or LSU on the defensive side of the ball.
Correct.
Like Florida State did not look that good defensively, and yet they held Alabama to 17 points. But they didn't look that good. So I just don't know if and it's all the more concerning, I think, for Alabama. It's just maybe the defense is, and here's the thing too, right? So like if you're an Alabama fan, you're thinking to yourself, okay, well maybe the defense takes a step back because we don't have Nick Saban anymore. But our offense should take a step forward. Kalen DeBoer is quote unquote an offensive guy, right? He's Michael Penix. We talk about Michael Penix.
Oh yeah, we've seen
it. And dude, you can't just go. If this would have been 35-30, 35-34 or 35-31, you'd be like, well, their defense is struggling. Their offense is fine. They've got to figure their defense out. 35-17 to Florida State, you're like, both sides of the ball suck.
Correct. Yeah, you can't allow. Hold on, let's see how many yards that they end up with. 388 yards of offense for Florida State.
236,
man. Correct. Yeah, that can't. 236 yards rushing, man. Goodness.
Real quick before we hit other scores, if anybody's keeping score at home, that takes Kevin and I to 0-4 on the season in our collective pick. I get 0-8 for both of our picks. We are currently shut out for the week. Our remaining hope lies with Notre Dame attending Miami tonight at 6:30. Oh, it was rough. It's just surprising that it clearly the Florida State game's the most surprising. I don't think LSU winning by a touchdown is a shocker.
No, that's not a shock at all.
Ohio State winning is not a shocker. OU not covering 35-3, not a shocker. We got some bad breaks, some bad beats, if you will. But the Alabama Florida State, that's just a bad pick.
They just. So
right,
Alabama, obviously this is game one, right? And teams will look a lot different. They've got Louisiana Monroe next week and Tuscaloosa
They've
before
struggled
they
against them in
host
the past,
Wisconsin.
though, right? Haven't they struggled against Louisiana Monroe, or is that like way back?
I mean, they beat Saban his first year. His first year, but then they host Wisconsin. Then they go to Georgia. So they really got to get it together and quickly.
Yeah, I would say so.
And Ty Simpson, look, he was fine. He was fine out there. But if they continue to struggle, fans are going to start calling for Keelan Russell, the true freshman out of Duncanville, Texas. Even though Ty Simpson, like I said, he wasn't horrible, but, if things aren't going well, they're just going to want to see.
The true freshman doesn't play defense, Kevin.
Agreed.
The true freshman does not play defense. No, I'm not saying I wouldn't be saying the same thing.
I mean, we had fans. Let me tell you how fans are. During the game yesterday, they were fans who wanted Sark to put in KJ Lacey, the true freshman quarterback.
I think that makes sense. I would have supported that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have. Not yesterday. KJ Lacey. Of course, you would have.
I would. Let's go. Yank him.
Yeah.
I wanted to see Hawkins after we went 3-0. Arizona State beats Northern Arizona 38-19. All right, here we go. Little Michigan, New Mexico. I think closer than we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
New Mexico.
New Mexico looks good. They look pretty good, man.
Yeah, they've got 75 new players on their roster, Kevin. 75 new players. So I don't know anything about New Mexico, obviously. But I'll tell you what, the Thomas kid playing receiver he seemed to be really, really good, right?
Yeah, he was giving them some trouble for sure.
And he was like hobbling around and stuff. Underwood, 21 of 31, 251 yards. More concerning for me, though, than Underwood, although those are good stats for a true freshman in his first ever game, is the running back Haynes, 16 carries, 159 yards, and 3 touchdowns. That's where Oklahoma's going to get exposed, I think. I do not think it'll be from Underwood, who might or might not have a really good game. I don't know. That's to be determined. My bigger concern
is their running game. Correct. Yeah, and they'll lean on you, and they'll force you to do things, and they'll have a game plan to where, hey, we're going to run it and run it and run it. And then the difference is, though, between what they had last year is they have a quarterback who can at least, if you start creeping the safeties up to stop the run, and they do a play action, he could throw it down the field. He's got a cannon of an arm.
He looked so smooth, didn't he, at quarterback?
He did.
He just looked really comfortable.
Yeah, I mean, and when you have these guys, he's number one player in the country coming out of high school last year. And, he certainly looked the part and looked composed. But again, it's going to be a completely different situation for him, having to go on the road in a raucous environment. So we've seen what that can do to inexperienced quarterbacks. We saw it with Arch yesterday. Obviously, it was more Ohio State's defense than the environment, but playing up against a talented and well-coached defense. So yeah, it's a fascinating matchup that I'm very excited about.
Any concern for Michigan's defense giving up 17 points to New Mexico? Did you see anything there that Oklahoma could exploit?
Well, I mean, the tight end position, that Thomas kid is a tight end. Who are you talking about? He went 10 for 71 and 2 touchdowns. So, maybe that excites them about how you can use Kanak there.
Yeah. I thought Kanak looked okay, man.
I thought he looked really good. I'm going to give him more credit than you are. I thought. Just for a kid who doesn't play offense, obviously he's an offensive guy in high school, but it doesn't matter. He's been playing defense for 3 years in college. for him to go to that and be able to catch the ball. That's what I was impressed about, is how natural he looked with his hands
Yeah,
catching the ball.
despite the fumble. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Well, you know what I was impressed with was his speed. God, he just looks so fast. And
Yeah,
he never really,
yeah, we knew he was an athlete, right?
but
Coming
you
in, that
never
was
got
the
to.
thing about him, is the speed, but no, it just didn't work out for him at linebacker. And
You never got to see the speed at linebacker. He
no,
never looked comfortable, and he looked pretty comfortable. We got to wait to see if he can block a little bit. But you know what, dude? If him and Mateer, if these three guys, and you can add a Gibson, either one, I'll take either one. I guess is Javonte Gibson just off the list now? Is he?
I mean, for now, has he even practiced at all?
That's what I'm saying. Is he? I
So
don't think
it's
so.
gonna be a while. No time soon.
But if we could get Giovanni, get a little, that's the only thing I think this receiving core is missing is a little bit of height. Just some,
Yeah.
because anyway, all right. Let's well, we got plenty to talk about there. Let me just any more scores of note here. Florida wins big, SMU wins big, K-State squeaks it out against North Dakota. Avery Johnson 28 of 43 for 318. A&M UTSA closer than we thought, 42-24.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff Traylor, he's obviously a good football coach, and they're always going to play hard. For A&M, I did see very little of that game, but their running back had a 75-yard touchdown run against A&M. Robert Henry Jr., 75-yard touchdown, finished 16 carries for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns. They gave up 200 yards rushing to UTSA. So we'll see what that means, if anything, for them going forward. I'm sure they have to be a little bit concerned. But I'll say their offense, they brought in a couple of guys in the transfer portal. Mario Craver and Casey Concepcion out of NC State. And Craver, eight catches for 122 and 2 touchdowns. Concepcion, 3 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. And he had a punt return for a touchdown as well. So they look much more explosive offensively than they did last year.
Yeah, Reed went 22 of 34 for 289 and 4 touchdowns. Pretty effective day. I don't typically love that kid, and it's hard to say with UTSA. I think you're concerned, though, right? If you're an A&M fan on the defensive side of the ball, you can't.
You can't give up 200 yards rushing to UTSA.
Indiana beats Old Dominion. Ole Miss rolls Georgia State. Simmons has a good debut. Iowa State beats South Dakota. Tennessee, Syracuse. Let's talk Joey Aguilar just for a second. 16 of 28, 247 yards and 3 touchdowns. I'm not sure there's a lot of letdown from, and we're going to talk about Nico stats.
No,
there's a lot of letdown from Nico, and I thought the kid looked pretty good. I don't know how good Syracuse is, but I thought the kid looked pretty good slinging the ball around.
I thought so too. Yeah, I mean, 16 to 28, pretty efficient. But yeah, I mean, they ran the offense and they ran the ball well too. I think that's what opens up for them with Tennessee, right? They're running the offense that kind of like you guys ran with Levy.
Yeah.
If you could run it, it opens up everything. And they ran 248 yards rushing. Talk about incredible balance, right? 248 yards rushing, 247 yards passing for Tennessee yesterday.
Syracuse is not going to be in the playoff, but they're a Division One team.
Okay. Yeah,
they're in the ACC.
Right.
They're Power 4.
They were good last year, Syracuse, and they lost a lot of guys. Right? We got one of their defensive tackles starting for us. So, but
let's
they're a solid, well-coached team.
Let's juxtaposition that result next to Utah versus UCLA. 43-10, Utah beats the UCLA Bruins. Nico Emilavea, the $1.4 million man, 11 of 22, 136, a touchdown and interception in front of like 14 fans. Is there a player with bigger regret in his life right now than Nico?
Yeah, it sucks, man. It really sucks because he should
does it suck? Does it suck, or is it you get what you ask for? Which is it, Kevin?
Look, yeah, he made a mistake for sure. He made a mistake.
Him and all his advisors sure did. It's not cool.
It's not. No. They played a hand, and it was the wrong hand. It was a bad hand, and it sucks, man. I was watching that game. Just little bits of it. I'm just like, man, this dude was playing in front of 100,000 people in
Yeah.
Knoxville. Incredible support from the fans, from everybody. And now he's here in the Rose Bowl when nobody really seems to care.
Yeah, and with a good team coming. Utah's a good football team.
Yeah, correct.
I mean, not that OU and Texas aren't sold out anyway, but if we had Utah on our schedule, that'd be a big game.
Yeah, it'd be a big game. Yes.
So it's
Correct.
just so weird. I'm thinking after week 1, though, you're giving the edge to Aguilar, right? Like he just looked like a better, more quarterback.
Correct.
It's not good for Tennessee. It's not good for us versus Tennessee, but I guess good for Tennessee, right?
Good for Tennessee. Yeah, not good for Tennessee opponents.
The only other national note that I just have to mention, because I just think it's just different, is Nebraska beat Cincinnati to 2017. Dylan Raiola had a really good game, 33-42, 243 and 2 touchdowns. Is the Patrick Mahomes stick though a little like it's a little much now, right?
It's a little much. Correct. Yeah.
Like
It was weird last year too.
Mahomes was at the game.
Correct. It was at Arrowhead.
And he looked uncomfortable. No, I'm not joking. Did you see him on the sideline? Like when he came out?
He was up in the booth, yeah.
No, he was on the sideline during the like when the team ran onto the field.
Oh, at the beginning of the game, yeah.
Yeah, and Raiola did the same entrance, like the exact same entrance. And
it's odd, man. And I get mimicking his game, but you're mimicking him. You're mimicking him. You know, I mean, Kobe used to kind of do that with Jordan, but not to this extent where he's dressing like him and doing, you know, Kobe used to do the tongue hanging thing out like Jordan used to do.
Yeah.
But this is like next level.
So did every other kid that grew up in the 90s.
Correct. But he did it in the NBA.
No, but he ended up also being a top 5 or 10 player of all time. I don't think Raiola's getting there, do you?
I don't think so. Nothing I've seen so far.
Pretty good week of football.
It is, and we're not done yet. Still got a couple more to go.
We've got to bounce back, dude, Kevin. You and I got to bounce back with our scores. These were
well. Listen, man. These week 1
picks.
games, usually our picks we're not picking games like this week 1. This is more of a week 2 type thing where at least we've seen something from the team. So, look, I credit these teams, Alabama and Florida State, for playing each other. Credit Texas and Ohio State, and LSU, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Miami for playing each other week 1. Because, I mean, it's you just don't know what you have, what your weaknesses truly are until you get out in the field. So, but the thing about it is, you know, kind of going back to Texas, is that this is not like the BCS era or even the early college football playoff era when a loss like this will kind of derail your entire season. Teams that lost at Clemson can be fine. Texas will be fine. Right? I feel like you can still, everything that you want to accomplish is still in front of you.
Well, I mean, even Alabama is fine.
Yes.
The concern level is higher.
Much higher.
Yeah, the concern level is much higher than maybe Texas fans.
Because the eye test on both sides of the ball is like, something's not right here. As good as Florida State played, and they had a great crowd, and it was cool to see them rushing the field after the year that they went. I thought they can rush the field, enjoy that, because when you're a team like that, you're a program like that, and you go from literally having an undefeated regular season, winning your conference, to 2-10. It's kind of like Texas went from, in 2009, 14-1, playing for a national championship, to 5-7 the very next year. It's a shock to the system. You can't even comprehend how that can happen. I mean, you guys, right? You go 10-2 in 2021, and then you go 6-7 in 22. It's like it's hard to deal with.
It's jarring. It hits you like right here.
It really is, man. Yeah. When it happens, usually it's a gradual decline, right? No, they just fell off a cliff.
Well, listen, I like I texted you yesterday. I think the game is better when Florida State's good.
Yes.
I think to have the ACC be a good conference with Clemson and Florida State. We'll see what Miami does tonight. Bounced up against. I wasn't impressed by anything the Big 12 did. They didn't really play anybody to be impressed, except maybe Utah. I think Texas Tech put 90 on somebody, but I don't really count that.
Yeah, but Arkansas Pine Bluff. I mean, come on.
Well,
They put
we're
up
hoping
67.
a Javani Gibson-less Arkansas Pine Bluff. Although if he ever plays, hey, real quick, when I was thinking about Patrick Mahomes, I meant to say, among other things that are going to get me in trouble in this podcast, did you see? We have like a new slate of commercials now, right? That we're going to probably have to watch for the rest of the season.
Probably.
You know what I mean, right?
Of course.
Yeah, we're stuck. We're stuck watching
We're
them.
stuck.
Like,
yeah.
we got introduced to them today.
Every segment, we're gonna see the same commercials.
We got introduced to them today, and because of the nature of live sports, we are going to see these at times. No matter how good you are with the remote, multi-view, it doesn't matter. You're going to see these. Meghan Trainor. I need her to drink a milkshake or eat a cookie or something, bro. I can't deal with that. It's unnatural.
I don't.
Come on, you don't have to say.
No, hear me out. No, I don't know much about her, but I know the commercials already annoy me.
Well, first of all, the commercial is annoying. She's the all about that bass girl, though, right? Like,
yes.
She made her mark on the world talking about big butts. That's the nature of, like, that's what she did. And now she's, I don't know, she's rail thin. I can't deal with it, Kevin.
Okay, I didn't realize that. I
You
heard
didn't
the song before, but
that's her. It's all about
No. I know the song, but I don't know anything about her. I don't even know if I ever saw her until the commercial.
Listen,
honestly.
She was curvy.
Okay.
She was curvy. I'm not going to deny that she was curvy. Of course, I think the podcast people and my wife know exactly what I think about curvy women, which is, very highly regarded. However, you can't just be jumping on the Ozempic and losing all that weight and still singing songs like that. That's all I'm saying, Kevin. It's off-putting. It's weird.
Listen, man, the check. You do what you got to do for the check, man.
But wasn't she getting paid with a big butt? That's what I'm asking.
I guess. I mean, that's just. I don't know. You're teaching me this. I don't know anything about her. I know that I've heard the song. I've never seen the video. I don't know what she looked like before, so I can't attest to the fact that that's what she was.
She appropriately. What was that? She appropriately sang a song. All I'm going to say is, you can look her up if you want. I don't know. She appropriately sang a song about having a big butt, and now she does not, and it's weird. That's it. That's all.
Okay.
It's okay, girl. Drink a milkshake. Cut that Ozempic in half or something. Jeez Louise. Is that inappropriate? I don't think it is. It's not. It's the opposite of whatever.
Well, if you have to ask.
Well, I also called Julie insane feminine today, so I don't know which is worse. You saw him though, right? The dude looked feminine, Kevin.
He had an interesting look. I'll leave it at that.
He had a very girly.
I'll just say he had. I'll leave it at that. He had an interesting look. Well,
dude, you always just leave me out on that limb to hang myself, don't you?
Hey man, listen. Yeah, I mean, I ain't trying to go out like that.
Hey, just come along with me, dude. There's room out here.
No, man. I just keep those kind of comments. I keep those kind of thoughts off. I choose to keep those kind of thoughts off air.
I go for a whole hour and I just lose it, Kevin. I lose it.
You lost it in like the first 5 minutes, though.
Yeah. It's just college football, man. It drains you, no? It drains your brain. And then the filters fall and dude, look, I went to the game. I was hoarse midway through the first quarter.
You did go to the game. How was the crowd, by the way?
Oh, it was good. The weather was so good. I don't know how loud it was, but the weather was so nice, dude. The vibe was good. When are you ever going to go watch an August 30th game at 5 o'clock in the 70s? There was a little rain. A little rain around the second quarter, and then it just, oh man, it was so pleasant. We stayed all the way to the end of the game.
That's great, man.
This just felt so good.
Who'd you go with?
It was me and my brother and his wife, 3 kids.
Oh, you told me about that, yeah.
They snuck out a little early. But me and LD and my dad stayed the whole time. We had a great time.
Great. It's
great,
man.
All right, dude, listen. Next week, middle of the week, probably Wednesday, we're going to record an episode. It's going to be pretty much all OU Michigan. Oh, Texas does play Louisiana Monroe.
San Jose.
Either way, doesn't matter. It's the same. The preview is going to be exactly the same. What's Arch going to do? All right. Anyway, regardless, Oklahoma, Michigan in Norman, top 25 matchup. A must win for Oklahoma.
College game day.
College game day minus Lee Corso. Dude, Lee, that was the best. That was so much fun. Kevin, enjoyed our first week of college football. Hopefully Notre Dame gets us a win. Have a great afternoon. Boomer!
Welcome.